Are you working? What kind of work do you do?
Welcome to the Philly EDC Holster Clinic, where Kydex craftsmen from across America and beyond are sending in their holsters for us to give them our honest feedback about what could be better, what could be improved, and what they're doing right. What's up, folks, and welcome to lucky episode 13 of the Holster Clinic. Today we have a holster from WW Tactical Systems of Kevin Woodward. This one is pretty interesting. It's an appendix-style holster with a side caddy for the magazine carrier. I wanted to go over a couple things with this. One is that it's super slick and smooth. I like that it's sort of a reverse fold over, which helps minimize the amount of material, and then by putting the eyelets on this side, it gives them the functionality to attach this on there. I don't really have a whole lot of criticism about the holster. It's a relatively smooth, consistent, considered finish. I can tell he knew exactly what he wanted this to be before he started it, and it turned out pretty well. The things I want to address are technical issues, which I think could be improved. First of all, the struts here with the loops are extremely wide, and that given that they're made out of Kydex, and attached at a single point, which eliminates any kind of adjustability for the user, and also them being Kydex will increase their propensity to snap. We've seen that making struts out of Kydex ourselves, and that is one of the reasons we don't do it anymore. Additionally, the fact that they are only attached at a single point allows them to rotate relatively easily. And what I found was that this strut, while already being kind of in the way of my grip, would easily rotate into entirely obstructing my grip. When we do a strut, it comes positioned such that you're always going to index your finger high and away from the trigger, so your trigger finger is going to either land on it or above it, and it won't interfere with your grip. And then on top of it, it can be adjusted out of the way even further if that's what you prefer. We also use a slimmer setup here instead of this sort of inch wide. We're using a 3/4 inch, which helps us accomplish that. So the strut always lands sort of outside of your grip such that it doesn't interfere with it. This one lands very much kind of like in the way. I've had some trouble negotiating that. Additionally, all right, a little part of our philosophy. We kind of got away from doing modular stuff that you can attach all together, because that tends to, while it's cool that things have that functionality, ultimately having your gear unattached is more comfortable for one thing, and a little more versatile. So for example, this would be a slick, slim, comfortable appendix rig. The fact that this mag carrier is attached means that you have more material inside the waistband that you have to contend with. On top of it, there's this little hot spot here, the way this flares out, which caused a significant amount of discomfort when I was wearing it, so I would make sure that it doesn't do that there. And then additionally, just ask yourself, what is the benefit of this over having a slim appendix holster and then a separate mag carrier, which you can position such that when you move, they move independently, and that you can easily not carry one or easily just throw this on when you want it. This kind of puts you in a position where you have to assemble and disassemble it depending on whether or not you want to carry an extra magazine here. And then on top of that, you don't get any kind of anatomical compromise. You can't relocate this relative to the individual anatomy, and you can't sort of find the sweet spot for the mag carrier if it's entirely attached to this. You put the gun where you think you have the best access to it, and then you're stuck with the mag carrier wherever it's attached, and you kind of have to compete for space inside your own pants with this attachment. Additionally, something else that I found was kind of an issue. Now, typically, you know, I'm going to run a 17-round backup magazine instead of a 15-round. But even so, a 17-round magazine is only going to be slightly taller than this, which means that I'm now in a position where I have to dig this mag out to get at it. So I would reconsider the location of that. I mean, obviously you can adjust it, but then at that point it's very tall. Yeah, I'm not quite sure that modularity is always the best option. I mean, it is an option, and when you increase options, that tends to increase appeal to a degree, but just doing something for the sake of doing something might not necessarily be the way to go when you consider other practical implications in terms of comfort. I mean, and the speed in which you can put on an individual mag carrier isn't really sort of contested by the speed at which this system goes on. You've got 2 loops. I've got 2 loops, and they go on just as fast, and then I don't have to deal with how, you know, where this is located in terms of compromising on comfort. That's just a thought, you know. That's kind of one of the reasons that we don't do like the pancake magazine carriers anymore, because you can attach them to each other. Well, it's just as easy to just get 2 really slim mag carriers and put them next to each other, and then they sort of move with your body a little bit more in an ergonomic way that allows you to carry them more comfortably. And you know, bolting things together doesn't always mean that you've made an upgrade, if that makes any sense. Aside from that, I mean, I think this is pretty cool. I would address the issue of these being relatively non-adjustable in terms of height, and the fact that they have a propensity to rotate and obstruct the grip, the full firing grip of the gun. And frankly, I think that this is something that is kind of like something that's cool to have, but not necessarily 100% required. And I would consider looking for a solution that, you know, this appears to increase versatility when it in fact may, in some cases, limit the user. So I would just, you know, explore that idea a little bit before you settle on having this kind of like caddy setup. But at any rate, yeah, thanks for submitting, and good luck with your holsters.